Hey guys, Aaron Wilson here at NRG Stadium. It's Friday afternoon. The Texans have completed all of their practices for the week, other than the walkthrough they always have on Saturday mornings when they have a home game. So the good news for the Texans, Dalton Schultz returned to practice as Texans coach Nico Collins indicated he would. So he's in some pain with knee and shoulder issues, but the fact that he practiced, and I'm told he intends to play on Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Also, there was some concern when Woody Marks surfaced on the injury report on Thursday with a calf injury, but could tell it wasn't serious on Thursday, and then that was borne out by his participation again Friday. Of course, they have Nico Collins back, Christian Kirk back. So let's talk matchups. The Texans nearly at full strength. They have, with Dalton Schultz, they're going to basically have their full complement. So they'll be able to run their offense with the tight end packages that they've already installed, in addition to the new jumbo package that's increasing in volume for backup tackle Blake Fisher. Not a starter in this team. You know, last year, yes, he was, but this year, he's in a different role. And I don't know if they'll throw him the ball. I think things have to be going really well for them to throw Blake Fisher. I heard he can catch, so that's good. But yeah, I just kind of want to, like always, kind of get some of those things outlined here at the beginning, and now we'll talk about the matchups, and so we'll kind of go through, the Texans, starting with their offense against the Broncos defense, and just how do they match up head to head. And of course, I think a lot of people would give the Broncos a lot of edges at 6-2 and having the pass rush that they have and a good offense in Bo Nix, but that's why they play the games. So the Texans have won 3 of 4. They are an improving team in the sense that they're not 0-3 like they began the season, just about as badly as you can. C.J. Stroud in the last couple of games has really improved. We're seeing growth from C.J. in terms of how he runs the offense. So that's improved, and it's gotten better and better. Right, and quarterback C.J. Stroud in recent weeks showing some positive signs. I know the Seattle game was a step back, but looking at how he performed against the Tennessee Titans, the Baltimore Ravens, and the injury-depleted San Francisco 49ers, so step in the right direction. Some flashes of his old rookie form, vintage C.J. Stroud when he was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. So what will be interesting and kind of instructive is the chemistry between C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. These guys getting back on track. There have been some times where I thought they weren't as sharp as their seasons in the past, in terms of last year and the year before when Nico had that breakout year with over 1,200 yards and 80 catches. So what I think will be interesting is for CJ, just hit the open man. You'll have Nico Collins, you'll have Christian Kirk, you'll still have Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, and Xavier Hutchinson, and Dalton Schultz. So you have a lot of legitimate options, including, of course, the check down, which got him his biggest play of last week, the 50-yarder to Woody Marks, who is going to be in his normal role in tandem with Nick Chubb. So we're seeing some positive signs, and I think you think about kind of the key matchups and how this thing will go. A lot of it will be determined by how the Texans handle the Broncos rush. So even though Patrick Surtain is out, you see CJ's been sacked 15 times the last 6 games, and the Broncos just have a formidable rush. They have speed with Nick Bonito and good moves. They have Jonathan Cooper as a pretty good repertoire. They have power with Zach Allen. They have a stout nose tackle in DJ Jones. They can blitz with Justin Chernard and Alex Singleton. So overall, just a very sound defense, coordinated by Vance Joseph, the former Texans secondary coach. So I look at, the Denver defense, and they're just absolutely loaded. I'd be remiss not to mention John Franklin Myers, formerly of the New York Jets, who's also got quite the tool bag of rush moves, and occasionally practices them here in the Houston area. You'll see him visit, and a lot of these guys do work with a pass rush specialist in Brandon Jordan, something called BT Jordan, and they get a lot of work with him. Dre Greenlaw is in this game, so they'll have his presence. He's rangy. He's a hard hitter. He's also a very physical player. And then, it's not the same without Patrick Surtain. I wonder if they'll have Jahdae Barron play over there, or they'll have Chris Abrams-Drain. We'll see how they operate there. Riley Moss, some people have, seen some vulnerabilities there with him before. But for the Texans, what is the strategy? Quick game, screens, maybe even some run-pass option plays. I think that will help to run those RPOs. When you have that in your repertoire and you have that schemed up, it can do some things to slow down the defense or to shoot up the A-gap or for some bootlegs for C.J. Stroud. Uses mobility, uses his legs. He's got some wheels. He can run a little bit. I think that will help them. So for the Texans, I've been talking with, I think I interviewed, I'm working on my article, obviously, for www.click2houston.com, KPRC2, is to, talking to all of the offensive linemen, except for the left guards. I didn't get a chance to interview Juice Scruggs and Laken Tomlinson, who will rotate again. But I have interviewed Titus Howard today, Jake Andrews today, and have those up on the channel. And I'll post them again so you guys can see what they have to say about the matchups. Ed Ingram, talking with Ariante Ursary. And to a man, they say, hey, confidence is up, playing more cohesively, feeling good about the blocking schemes. So these are some of the matchups that the Texans have to win, or at least stalemate, to be able to have a good chance against a very gifted Broncos defense that doesn't do anything that exotic, honestly. It's the personnel they've assembled. So all those guys I mentioned, they have some good backups like Malcolm Roach, Jonah Ellis, and Dondre Tillman. So they have a lot of rushers. They have a lot of guys that have had sack production and pressures, and they lead the NFL in sacks and pressures. So on paper, doesn't look like a great matchup for the Texans, but we did see some improvement, and we'll see. Can they continue to ascend? Can they trend in that right direction the way they did? And then we'll get to the defense, but we're talking offense right now, and we do think that having Nico Collins back should give them a boost. They were able to put up some good points without him, and now that he's cleared the concussion protocol, the Texans have this opportunity to see, can they get to 4-4? Winning this game would mean a lot for them. And you see the Jacksonville Jaguars, they displaced Travis Hunter, their star rookie, on injured reserve. And the Texans probably should have won that first game on the road, but made some critical errors, including some mistakes by C.J. Gardner-Johnson, everybody's favorite. Now, on his third team of the season, fourth team of the year, traded from the Eagles to the Texans, cut by the Texans, cut at his request by the Baltimore Ravens, and now with the Chicago Bears. So we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, when he was with the Texans, he was screwing up the coverages, and that allowed that big play to Brian Thomas Jr. That set up the game-winning touchdown. Also, that was a time when Ariante Ursary was much more vulnerable to efficient rushers like Josh Hines-Allen. We saw a step forward, and it was his highest graded game yet. And we always kind of said, Ursary has a talent, he's just very young. He's 21, 22 years old, and he's massive, he's got good feet. But this is going to test him in a way that he hasn't been tested since the Seahawks game or the Rams game. And it's very similar because of the way that they're built, the way that they've assembled such good personnel. George Paton, the Broncos general manager, so he's done a great job with that. I think having Dalton Schultz back helps the blocking a lot. He's not like a mauling type of blocker, but he's a good position blocker, and he gives you what he has. He's very quietly had an underrated season, and I think he's done a good job. He does lead them in receptions. He's second in receiving yards. So having back Dalton Schultz, that's important. So where does Christian Kirk fit into all this? Is he going to have the same amount of targets as, say, Braxton Berrios or Jalen Noel? It looks like there's about 5 or 6 throws per man for these guys. And I think that's kind of why they want this to work, where they don't force feed Nico Collins the football 10, 12, 14 times. I don't think that's good for him. I don't think that's good for the offense necessarily for them to operate that way. So this is a change. And for the Texans, kind of going forward, looking at, how they'll go about this, whole matchup, really, it's mostly, because I think they're going to do a good job on defense. It's about what the offense can do against the Broncos. So we'll look at, the Broncos secondary depleted a little bit, and so it comes down to pressure and the rules that they have. And Nick Haley got into that a little bit about pass rush protection rules and having, sound assignment football. But yes, this will test them in many ways. So going to the other side of the football, as you guys know, the Broncos have allowed the fewest sacks in the NFL. They've only given up 8 sacks for the entire season. Texans are one of the best pass rushing teams. They're not as prolific as the Broncos, but they're a good pass rushing team, especially Will Anderson Jr., one of the highest pressure rates in the NFL. And then you have, of course, Danielle Hunter. And Danielle is a formidable pass rusher in his own right, Pro Bowl guy, over 100 career sacks. So looking at the Texans and their front of Will Anderson Jr., Tim Settle Jr., Sheldon Rankins, Danielle Hunter, and backups like Mario Edwards Jr., Tommy Togiai, Derek Barnett, and Nico Collins. They're up against a good offensive line, no real household names, but 2 big, strong tackles that have had some experience playing together in Garrett Bowles, the left tackle, and right tackle, Mike McGlinchey. So yeah, it's definitely some sound guys, and a tough guy at right guard, and Quinn Minears. And they have Alex Pelzewski at left guard and center Luke Wattenberg. So a good group. And the Texans, they won't be playing against Marvin Mims due to a concussion, but they will play against Cortland Sutton and tight end Everett Ingram, and a good running back tandem of J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. Kind of starts there. To stop the run, and they have to stop Bo Nix from throwing on the run, and he can escape, and sometimes he doesn't just escape outside. Sometimes he will shoot A-B gaps, meaning between the center and the guard. That's something he likes to do. So the Texans got to cover, and they certainly can with Derek Stingley Jr., Kamari Lassiter, and Jalen Petrie's had a good season so far, one of the highest rated nickels and / safeties in the NFL. I think E.J. Speed will probably start again next to Azeez Al-Shire. And it's Aziz's job to make the defensive signal call, sometimes make some changes, and they have that trust factor with him, and they let him do that. So that's great. But definitely they've got to get after him, and it's about disciplined rushes. You've got to get up the field, but you've also got to stay under control, and you got to make it happen fast, because there will be some dropbacks. They don't only do quick game or only do quick hitting runs. Sometimes there's some slower developing plays, and there are opportunities to penetrate the backfield, and so the Texans have to capitalize on those opportunities and get in there. So overall, kind of thinking about the Texans and kind of some of the edges for them, I think that the improved play, that's something that's trending for the defense. And there was some slippage, some missed tackles, right, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And right now, it's looking a lot better. So I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing from the defense, and now it's just a matter of keeping that going. If you're the Texans and you think about where you're at, they have a chance to establish themselves as a clear wild card. I think that they're not conceding the AFC South yet to the Colts, but the Colts look like they're well equipped to run away with the division. They're going to be obviously that head-to-head matchup here and on the road, but the way it's gone so far, I think you have to take the Colts so seriously. And for the Texans, they got to win one of these games like this one where they're not favored to win. It's 6-2 against 3-4, and they've been kind of fighting and clawing their way back into this. So this is where a lot of it comes back to coaching and D'Amico Ryan setting the tone and being around these guys all week. Yeah, but I've said that other weeks. I think they seem locked in, all those sort of things. The players know more than the coaches about anything behind the scenes. That's a little more, we're seeing sort of a surface. We're talking to guys, we're hearing from people, but it's different, actually being in the trenches with them. And yeah, I think that they are confident. I don't think that they're in awe of the Broncos or anything like that. I think they feel good about their opportunity to have some success. Look at the way that the Texans are covering. They're getting, some pressure, and they're tackling better. So overall, that's why they're the top-ranked defense for scoring and yards. So they've had some real suffocating performances against, the Ravens and the 49ers. But this time you're getting a team other than Pat Surtain that's basically at full strength. So it's, definitely, I would say it's tougher. It's gone up, in terms of what it takes to be outstanding against a quality opponent. But, this game is, like I said, a real litmus test. They did a great job against Christian McCaffrey, shutting him down. So now what can they do against J.K. Dobbins, who actually lives here? I was actually wondering if they looked into it. Signing Dobbins at one point, they did the Nick Chubb deal, but it sounds like they never got involved with Houston, and so that didn't come to fruition. But overall, I think the Texans, you look at some of the, key numbers, things like that, battle on third down, pivotal, who's going to be the winner on third down, and, the Broncos, in terms of running the football, they're averaging over 150 rushing yards per game, and they have a great track record when they rush for at least 130 yards. I think that's something that the Broncos will look to do to try to exploit the Texans' aggressiveness, zone runs, traps, and Texans, of course, try to get penetration and stop plays before they can get started. So we're seeing, in terms of some of the edges, obviously, yes, the Broncos would have the edge in terms of pass rush, but I kind of like the Texans' chances as a receiving core against this secondary. I think there's some opportunities for guys to get open. They got to get open fast. And on the other side of the football, the Texans look like they are one of the teams that has the talent to actually create some havoc against a good Broncos offensive line. It's got sound things, and in terms of how they make things look, and Sean Payton, the play caller. So Sean Payton and DeMeco Ryans, the chess match, and they've gone against each other when DeMeco was a player, and of course with DeMeco as a coach. And so I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. Last time, though, Texans did take care of business against the Broncos, and they had a lot of success against Russell Wilson. But this is Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a young quarterback that Sean Payton handpicked out of Oregon, and he does a lot of really good things. Texans are going to need everybody. They're going to need to be able to run the ball. I haven't talked about that enough. So you have Nick Chubb, Woody Marks. They've got to establish themselves. They've got to be able to keep them honest, or they can't run the play action that they want to run. And another thing on offense, and I wrote about this a little bit, the chemistry is growing, the timing between Jalen Noel and C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud thinks he's going to be a great player. He talks about how coachable he is and everything that kind of goes into being a good young receiver. So Jalen Noel showing a lot of positive signs and production, especially these last 2 weeks. So I think he's getting to a point now where they can kind of count on him more and more, and we'll see. Does he continue to break out? He's going to be on returns. I think that's pretty clear. And overall, just, can you get more from Higgins? You'd like that to happen. But ultimately, the feature receiver, as he should be, Nico Collins. And in terms of the kicking game, the Broncos have one of the best kickers in Will Lutz. And they are going to be missing, of course, their return man. So you might see Riley Moss or Jaleel McLaughlin, Tyler Beatty back there to help out on returns. Texans got to do a better job of covering on kickoff returns. I like the way that Ka'imi Fairbairn's kicking the ball in terms of field goals, and long snapper Austin Brankman's done a good job, and Tommy Townsend's boomed some. But yeah, they have some chances where they haven't made as many big plays in the return game, and I think that Frank Ross's units are definitely capable of better play than what we've seen, especially this past week. So yeah, Texans Broncos. I want to hear from you guys. Whether you think they can win this game. I think they got a chance. It wouldn't shock me if they won the game. I do give the Broncos some edges. I think that they're pretty formidable, right, on defense, and that makes this game a difficult one for the Texans, but not impossible. Nothing's impossible. They're a talented squad, and there's pretty much no team that they can't be competitive against or can't beat. Like I said, like when they play Buffalo, based on how they played against Josh Allen last time, it wouldn't surprise me if the Texans were not outstandingly, fiercely competitive against Josh Allen and company. But that's a story for a different day. Today, all about Texans, Broncos, and breaking down this game. So guys, appreciate you liking, and subscribing to the channel. Can always use more people doing that. And of course, I'm on Twitter and X, Aaron Wilson _NFL. Instagram, Aaron Wilson 7128. On television at KPRC2. And online at www.click2houston.com. So guys, until next time, talk soon. And definitely look forward to bringing you more post-game coverage and analysis. Thanks, guys. Talk soon. Big game, Denver Broncos. Titus, what do you feel like after you guys had a really good performance in the Niners, you guys can do to build on that against the Broncos and a good front?
Just communicate. Everybody get on the same page. Play as one. Play hard. Own in on a technique. Not try to be doing nothing out of the norm. Just stay consistent all game.
What's the challenge of the Broncos? What are some things that make them stand out?
Man, they got a good front. They got a lot of guys that can play from top to bottom. You got Benito Cooper, Zach Allen. I know him. We came out the same year. They got those guys. You got Franklin Myers, is a good guy. They all some good players, man. DJ Jones. They got a good front. I think they win a lot of games because of how good their front is. But I think we could stay consistent all game and do the things we need to do to protect our front and get some time and establish a run would be good.
Was some confidence built last week? Kind of the way you guys went about it, the long drives, kind of sustaining a lot of things.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always good to play good against up front and not give up no sacks. That's a goal every week. We just continue, man. Like I said, be consistent. Continue to do it week after week. So that's a goal for this week.
New standards, right?
Yeah, that's a standard, man.
Yeah, and I know CJ appreciated it. Did you get your game ball?
Oh yeah, we did, man.
Yeah.
He showed love and get a whole lot of game balls. That's just motivation to keep doing it, man. Keep achieving, that standard every week.
Those aren't free.
They're not free. You gotta
earn
earn
buy
it.
that. Yeah.
You gotta earn it.
What's the best lineman dinner you guys have had this year? What's the best lineman dinner you guys have had this year?
I'll say State 48.
Yeah?
It's a staple, man. We go to State 48 every year. I did the State 48 dinner this year. It was pretty good. Turned out really good for us.
How about the rookie dinner?
We're going to wait to do that later on in the year.
Hopefully all of his checks are clear.
I know all the checks could wait for them to stack his bread up.
What's the most expensive place you guys could would it be Turner's, maybe?
I think Mastro's is the most expensive.
Mastro's would.
Yeah, Mastro's would be really expensive. So we might have to take him to Mastro's.
All right. So what are some things that make them kind of set them apart?
They affect the passer really well. They're really well in the run game. They're just really disciplined. I mean, Vance Joseph has done a good job for a lot of years, and they got a good scheme, and it keeps people on their toes.
No, the edge guys get a lot of love, but those interior guys for Denver are pretty good. That's going to be your assignment this week. What are you kind of seeing from them?
Same thing. They all can rush. Usually when you play teams, they got one edge guy. Oh, they got two edge guys. Well, they all can rush and they can all affect the passer. So it's going to be on every single one of us, all five, to make sure that we're doing our job and handling the rushes the right way.
When you have success like you guys did last week, how easy is it to kind of reinforce what went right and kind of fix the little small things after a successful week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to learn after a win for sure. I think we can't let the beginning of the season just kind of go by and forget that ever happened. We need to learn from that stuff as well, and we have. I think that's why you saw what you saw last Sunday. We just got to continue to build on it. All the cliches, they mean something at the end of the day. Whether how much you say them or don't say them, and we got a job to do. We got to keep learning and growing and doing a better job.
Jake, you said you got a good Halloween costume.
Yeah.
What you got set out?
Bandit from Bluey. My wife will be Miss Rachel, and my daughter's going to be Minnie Mouse. That's her favorite. She says Mimi. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Favorite Halloween candy?
I like the little mini Kit Kats. Just the mini ones, the small ones. I like those ones. Those are really good.
How much younger does he look without a mustache?
A lot younger.
It's a bad look. It's for a Halloween costume now.
Oh, is it? What is it?
Halloween costume.
The Bluebell Fudge Pop coach?
Oh, really?
If we could do it at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome.
So with the, you talked about learning. It feels like it's kind of a similar opportunity for y'all that y'all had against Seattle, where you're facing a good team, you're trying to get back up to 500. Why do you think y'all are perhaps better equipped this time around than against Seattle?
I don't think I can give you a direct answer. I mean, there's obviously different things you could point at that might give you something, but I'm not going to validate any of those. I mean, bye week, whatever. At the end of the day, we all have to go out there and execute and do our job and play disciplined football, and that's the goal this week. We've got to get back to doing that. We had a good step forward against the 49ers doing that, and we got to, like I said earlier, continue to build on it.
How's it feel to be cleared from the concussion protocol? How are you feeling now?
Man, feel great. Blessed to be off the protocol. Feeling good, man. Excited about this week. Great matchup. Denver coming in. Great team, man. So excited to be back though.
Did you have some pretty bad symptoms? What were some things you experienced with this concussion?
Oh yeah, I did. I hit my head hard. Just regular head. Hitting the ground hard. Just seeing just little flashes, whatever. Just what it is. But I'm all good now. That's all that matters, and ready to play this week.
A lot of people have been talking about how now that you're back and Christian Kirk is back, with the really guys stepping up while you were out, that this offense can become a little more all around. How do you see that?
Yeah, the same, man. Great, man. Everybody stepping up, which is a great thing. That's what you want as a team. Your numbers called, you want to go out and operate, and go step up and make plays, man. I'm glad to see my boys out there making plays, the entire team, man, on both sides of the ball. One guy missed, but you got to continue to go. So glad I'm seeing everybody, feel good, getting their groove, get ready for the matchup in Denver.
We know what you can do. Do you get fired up watching the young guys kind of emerge a little bit?
Man, for sure. I feel like it's no better feeling than seeing your teammates, your brothers go out there, do what they love, make plays, celebrate, laughing. That's the point of it, what I'm saying? Same game you play your entire life, man. But seeing the boys go out there as fans, man, it's just a great feeling, for sure.
Nico.
I mean, it is what it is. You know, I wish nobody missed a game. You know, I just wish speed recovery with him, man, with his pec, you know, whatever he got going on, issues, you know. But, no, definitely, it was going to be a great matchup, you know, always good on good, and that's what you want, you know, and that's the point of this league. You know, you're going to go against guys like that, you know, all pro corners, you know. So, man, it sucks that he's not out there, man, but speed recovery on his own, for sure.
Yeah, so Mario Luigi.
How so?
Well, when I was in college, my roommate was tall. He was taller than me. Luigi's taller than Mario. But I was like the big mushroom, like Mario. So.
Top 3 candies for you?
I like if anybody giving out the little hamburger, little candies, the little concession stand candies, the ones that got the hot dogs, hamburgers, the pizzas. I'm grabbing every one of them that's in there. I like hot chews. I like almond joy. It's fucking weird. It's weird. I like almond joy. I don't know why. It might be the coconut. And the last one, the berry pack Hubu gummy bears. I don't know if I said it right. The little gummy bears, the little purple pack. It don't got none of the bad flavors in there. All berries.
Who's your son going to be for Halloween?
But I don't even know. He FaceTimed me yesterday. He showed me this outfit. And he had like a little knife with fake blood on it. And he told me what it was. I don't remember. I was just laughing because he was flicking the knife up and down. I'm like, we didn't teach him that. We didn't teach him knife etiquette yet. So let's hope that he doesn't do anything that he's not supposed to. A little toy knife.
Tim, what do you got to do to make this a bad Halloween weekend for the Broncos?
Just do what we do best. Play football, swarm, minimize his quarterback, and just move the ball on offense.
I know you guys as a defensive line want to set the tone every week. Why is that so vital with a Denver group on offense that's so varied in ways they can hurt you?
I feel like it's not even about them. Okay. You know, it's more about us. You know, it's like us. If you come out in a fight and you throw a punch first, they gotta react. They gotta throw a punch back. So you know, I think we don't want to get punched first anymore. So you know, let the games begin. You know, we're gonna play good football. We know it's a good football team. We know that they capitalize and getting after the QBs and they lead the league in sacks right now. But we're looking past that. You know, we know that's a good team and a good defense, but we think we got a better defense. So.
Tim, they've only allowed 8 sacks. What about their offensive line and the way they run their offense makes it tougher to get to the quarterback?
I feel like they got a variety of everything. So I feel like they're good at running a lot of everything. So keeping teams honest, you know, as far as their schemes and just what they do, they can run everything out of any personnel. Just making sure we're on our keys and just executing what we need to execute.
Bert told us the importance